On the cold rim of a metal feeder, with sunflower husks clicking softly in the tray, a Eurasian blue tit can cross a hidden physiological threshold before its tiny feet even settle. You see the blue cap first, then the yellow breast, then that quick, bright movement of the head, left, right, left again, as if the bird is not just looking at the garden, but measuring it. Measuring the glass door, measuring your hand on the mug, measuring the small shift of your shoulder behind the window. And here's the part most people miss. That pause is not hesitation in the human sense. It is not shyness. It is not personality. Inside that bird's brain, a decision system is already running at speed, sorting the shape of you into one of two rough categories: danger or not danger enough to leave. Welcome back. Today, we are going inside the brain of the Eurasian blue tit, one of the boldest little garden birds many people ever meet, and we are going to follow the exact chain that turns panic into staying. Because when this bird lands at your feeder, it is not relaxed the way you are relaxed at a kitchen table. Its body is prepared to vanish. Its muscles are ready. Its heart can climb in an instant, and still, some mornings it does not go. That is the puzzle. Why birds fly away is easy. The real question is why this one, on this feeder, with you standing there, suddenly doesn't. If you like quiet backyard moments explained by real bird biology, subscribe before we follow the first signal firing under that blue cap. So let's stay with that first signal, while the bird is still on the feeder and the seed shells are shifting under its feet. The little head turns, and it looks almost delicate from your side of the glass. A blue cap, a yellow front, a dark eye set in a pale face. But inside the skull of that Eurasian blue tit, the safety system is not delicate at all. It is fast, old, and extremely serious. In birds, fear processing centers on a region called the arcopallium. You can think of it as the bird world counterpart to the amygdala, the part of a mammal brain that helps detect danger. And the important thing is speed. The arcopallium does not wait for a calm review of the facts. It can react within milliseconds. A sleeve moves, a door handle clicks, a shadow crosses the feeder pole. The bird's brain does not say, "Let's see what this means." It says, "Prepare." That is why the small body can seem to vanish before you have even finished stepping forward. The wings open, the claws release, and the branch is empty. From your side, it feels abrupt. From the bird's side, it was already underway before the moment looked dangerous to you. And this is what makes the later stillness so extraordinary. Because the Eurasian blue tit does not become safe by turning that system off. It cannot afford to. Something else has to speak quickly enough to interrupt it. But before that second message can arrive, the alarm sends chemistry through the body. That chemistry is the reason a bird can look calm for one breath and be gone in the next. The main stress hormone in birds is corticosterone. In a human comparison, it plays a role much like cortisol. When the alarm system in the blue tit flags a possible threat, corticosterone rises. The heart works harder. Blood and energy shift toward the muscles. Feeding drops down the priority list. So when you slide open a stiff garden door and hear that little scrape in the track, the bird may already be changing inside. The seed is still in its beak. Its claws are still wrapped around the feeder rim. But the body is preparing for air. This is why too close is not only a distance, it is a chemical state. You might be 6 steps away on a quiet morning and harmless. Or you might be much farther back, but moving quickly, with a coat flapping, and the bird's body reads the whole scene as urgent. Corticosterone is not the enemy. It is what keeps a small bird alive in a world where hesitation can be costly. But it has a price. A body cannot stay in escape mode all the time without giving up something else. Feeding time, rest, immune strength, the calm needed to keep returning. And yet, with some people, after enough quiet mornings, that spike begins to soften. The feeder creaks. Your hand lowers the bag of seed. The Eurasian blue tit watches from the hedge, and for the first time, its body may not climb all the way to panic. Something has started keeping a record. That record is written in repeated outcomes. The bird watches you refill the feeder in the same corner of the garden. It hears the dry rattle of seed against plastic. It sees your arm move, then stop. It sees you step back instead of forward. And nothing bad follows. Not once, not twice, but again and again. This is where the story becomes more precise than simple getting used to people. Avian cognition research has shown that many birds can learn individual patterns very well, especially when those patterns matter for safety and food. The small garden bird at your feeder is not making a grand judgment about all humans. It is building a narrow, useful file about you. Your outline, your walking rhythm, the sound of that door, the way you bend near the feeder and then leave space. These details can become linked inside memory systems that help the bird predict what happens next, and prediction is everything. A sudden shape with no history is treated one way. A familiar shape with many harmless mornings behind it is treated another way. Same garden, same feeder, same bird. But the meaning of your presence has begun to change. That does not make the bird careless. It still flicks its head. It still checks the hedge. It still holds its body with that spring-loaded readiness you can see if you look closely. But underneath the alarm, another message is forming. Known pattern, lower risk. And once that message becomes fast enough, it can start to do something remarkable. It can argue with fear before the wings open. That argument is a race, measured in fractions of a second. The alarm rises first, because it always does. The arcopallium catches the movement near the feeder, the slight lean of your body, the pale shape of your hand against the morning light. The bird tightens. Its toes press harder into the metal. Its chest lifts once, quick and shallow. Then, memory answers. With no thought like yours, no sentence, but a stored pattern. This shape has appeared before. This sound has happened before. The seed bag rustles, the feeder is filled, the body moves away. No chase, no grab, no sudden reach toward the bird. That is the beginning of the threat suppression signal, a learned message pushing back against the old alarm. And for a long time, it may not be strong enough. You see the result as a flash of blue and yellow leaving the feeder before you even get close. The bird did not fail to trust you. Its alarm simply arrived first. But then comes a morning when the timing changes. You step onto the patio. The air smells damp. Somewhere in the hedge, leaves click softly against each other. The bird lands, sees you, and its body prepares the usual escape. But the memory signal comes in faster than it did last week. The wings do not open. The Eurasian blue tit stays for one extra heartbeat. And in that heartbeat, the whole relationship has shifted. Not finished, not safe forever. Shifted. Now the next question is even stranger. Why doesn't the bird treat everyone that way? Because the bird has not learned that the world is safe. It has learned that one pattern in one place has been safe often enough to matter. This is the point where people sometimes get it slightly wrong. They see the blue tit stay on the feeder while they stand nearby, and they think the bird has become relaxed around humans. But watch what happens when someone else walks into the garden with a different stride, a brighter jacket, a louder voice. The same feeder is there. The same seeds are there. The hedge smells of wet leaves and soil. But the bird's body may change at once. Head up, chest tight, toes angled to push away. That old alarm system has found a mismatch. And that mismatch matters. A wild bird does not trust in broad categories if it can avoid it. Broad categories are risky. Human is too large. Person who fills this feeder quietly and steps back is much more useful. The memory is narrow because the danger is narrow. It is built from details, timing, posture, sound, distance, even the way your hand moves near the lid. So if you wear a hood pulled low, or carry a large bag, or approach from a side you rarely use, the bird may treat you almost like a new problem. The memory remains, but the match is incomplete. That is what makes the staying so exact. It is not softness. It is recognition under pressure. And once recognition begins to hold, another system starts adding something new to the moment. Not just lower fear, but expectation. That expectation is the point where the scene at the feeder changes from simple tolerance into something more active. The bird is still wild. It is still checking the hedge, the roofline, the dark gaps between branches. But now, when you appear near the feeder, the brain may ask, "Is this safe enough?" It may also ask, in its own chemical way, "Does this predict something good?" That is where dopamine enters the story. Dopamine is no mere pleasure chemical. In birds, as in many animals, it helps the brain learn reward and anticipate it. A feeder with seed becomes part of that system. The sound of seed pouring can become part of it. Your slow arrival, if it often comes before food and never comes before danger, can become part of it too. So the Eurasian blue tit may begin to move differently around you. It has not become careless or turned into something domestic. Its reward map has changed. You step outside with the feeder lid in your hand, and instead of flying deep into cover, the bird may hop to a nearby twig. You hear the tiny tap of claws on bark. It leans forward, light as a leaf, watching you with that sharp black eye. Food is not in its beak yet. It may not even be on the tray yet, but the prediction has already begun. And when a wild bird chooses the closer perch before the reward arrives, it is showing you a quieter, stranger layer of trust. That closer perch is easy to miss because it does not announce itself as a breakthrough. It may be the thin outer twig of a shrub, still shining with rain. It may be the top of a fence post, rough and cold under those tiny claws. It may be the handle of a hanging basket, just a short flight from the feeder. The bird lands there while you are still outside, and for a second, nothing dramatic happens. But look at what has changed. Earlier, your presence pushed the bird deeper into cover. Now, it chooses a place where it can see you clearly. It has not given up escape. The wings are still ready, the head still turns toward every scrape, every footstep, every small sound from the garden. But the distance has shortened. That distance is biology made visible. The arcopallium is still checking. Corticosterone may still rise a little. Memory is still comparing your shape with the stored pattern. Dopamine may be nudging the bird toward the place where food usually appears. All of that is hidden inside a body light enough to bend a flower stem. This is why garden bird studies and long-running observation projects from groups like the British Trust for Ornithology matter so much. They remind us that ordinary feeder behavior is not simple background movement. It is data, if you know how to read it. A quicker return, a lower perch, one extra second before leaving. Small signs. But in a bird this alert, Small signs are the whole story. And the next sign is the one people remember the moment you move, and it does not. And that moment is usually so quiet that if you are not watching for it, you may walk right past it. You lift the empty feeder from its hook. Metal taps against metal. A few husks fall onto the damp paving. The bird is on the shrub now, not hidden deep inside it, but near the edge, where the leaves tremble around its body. Then you move. A shoulder turn, a step sideways, the kind of movement that used to send the feeder visitor straight back into the hedge. The arcopallium still notices. The alarm still rises. For a split second, the bird's body leans toward flight. But this time, the flight threshold is not crossed. That is the category switch. More exact than safe in some soft human way, or trusted like a companion animal. In the bird's nervous system, you have moved from unknown moving shape to known low-risk presence. The blue tit keeps its feet on the twig. Its head turns once, sharply. The black eye catches the pale light. Its chest moves. The body is awake to danger, and to you. That is the part that matters. The alarm was answered. This is why the stillness can feel so personal from the outside, because in a very narrow biological sense, it is personal. The memory is not about everyone. The softened corticosterone response is not for every passing shape. The reward prediction is not attached to the whole world. It is attached to this garden, this feeder, this pattern, and perhaps, now, to you. So the next time it happens, do not rush to name it. Let the scene stay small. The feeder hook, the cool air on the glass, the faint spill of seed dust on your fingers, the bird on the twig, bright cap tilted, yellow breast rising and falling as it watches you from just a little closer than it used to. Inside that tiny body, the old systems are still doing their work. The arcopallium is still testing movement. Corticosterone is still ready to rise. Memory is still comparing today with all the other mornings. Dopamine is still tracing the line between your arrival and the good thing that often follows. But now, the signals do not all point toward escape. That is the real gift of repeated calm. No control, no ownership, no making a wild creature less wild. You have only become one familiar shape in a complicated garden, one pattern that has not broken its own promise. And that is enough for the Eurasian blue tit to stay. The small feet tighten on the twig. The head turns once toward the feeder, once toward you. Then it drops down, quick and clean. Not because fear is gone, but because fear has been answered in time. A few husks lift in the breeze and settle against the edge of the tray. The bird takes one seed, taps it open, and the garden goes on around both of you. If you have seen a bird choose the nearer branch, return sooner than it used to, or stay through a movement that once sent it flying, leave that exact moment in the comments. And subscribe if you want more backyard behavior explained from the inside out.